I meant to.
Okay, got it. Great. Yeah.
Welcome, Georgie. Hi, Georgie Garwood. We've got with us today. Thanks, anyone that's watching at home. Yeah, so I asked Georgie if she would be a guest with me today. I'm down on the other computer with all my notes. So yeah, Georgie, I think it was Solaris Star that first mentioned you to me quite a while back, and then I joined your Unified Consciousness community page.
Yeah, we've actually kept it as a closed private page, especially at the moment with, I mean, you just don't know who's coming in and out of the spiritual communities. They're not always of the light, you know, so we've kept it quite quiet, if you know what I mean. So it's, you literally, people have to apply to join. I think that's the right thing to do. It's felt right for me anyway. And anybody who's watching is welcome.
Oh, that's marvelous, because then you discern.
Yes.
And that's the point. We are having to discern for ourselves a lot now, aren't we?
Absolutely. It's actually a really good place to start, isn't it, right now? Because only last night I got my lovely Ruby Circle with me here. There was 13 of us for the super moon. Sadly, we didn't see it because the cloud was there, but it was a beautiful evening. So much energy.
Lovely. And
one of the things that we were talking about is when the lighter you get and the more higher in frequency that you get, the more you're potentially gonna maybe find these things coming in, these darker things just coming in at the side at you, and you've just got to stand strong and be really, really conscious of energy management and protection, and exactly who you allow into your life, really, and who you allow in your space. Yeah.
So you do use protection, like you do you do a protection thing daily, or?
Yeah, twice a day. So in the morning I connect. When I shower, I just cleanse everything off, bringing the lilac fire source through as well, and then protect. And the new bit of protection that I've been given, I'm grinning because it sounds really funny, but we did some clearing and some caves near Tintagel, just around the corner, and we cleared the caves and released some dragon energy there. And I was given, while we were driving along in the car, you all need to wear your dragon armor of light. So that's what we put on there. We put our dragon armor of light on every morning. Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Oh, I love that. Love it. So what I'll just say, I'm Jackie White, Inspirations Positive Living, and Georgie Garwood is a Soul Purpose Activator, Quantum Oracle, and Intuitive Coach. But you're going to say more about that. Yeah, so just to introduce, you know, why, because just all three of those sound so interesting. But from what I've heard from different people, and then I was fortunate enough to meet you actually in June, wasn't it?
That was at the Knowlton Henge event that Adrian Lee put on. It was just beautiful meeting you, Jackie, and some of the others as well, and reconnecting with Sally Sherrin too, and very special. Yes. Even though, as I said before we came on live, we are connected. We're not the same little pod of soul group, because we're down in the southwest, further southwest. But we're connected, aren't we? We've got this lovely connection, which is really special.
Definitely we have. Yeah. And you knew Sally anyway?
Yeah, met Sally through watching one of your shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So watching a summer solstice event that you'd put on, I think it was summer solstice, with Tim and Sally.
Yes.
And another lovely lady who's I can't remember her name now. She does angels.
Oh, sorry.
Sue somebody.
Sue Stone.
Yes, that's it. Sue Stone was on as well. It was like a few of you putting this lovely event on, and that's where I saw Sally, and then I reached out to her for the quantum healing.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. I mean, Sally is just marvelous, and she does the QHHT. Yeah, that's definitely. Right. Sorry, Monty's in here. Can you hear him?
No, I can't.
Oh no, it's all good.
I've actually locked 2 doors to the terriers. There's 3 terriers And there's
Oh,
3 rabbits outside that keep coming onto the new garden that we've done. And
oh,
they are
bless.
possessed by the rabbits. They just want to get out there and chase them. And they're howling. So I've had to lock 2 doors to stop the interference coming through into the office.
See, I find it easier to have the door open and just let them come in and out so that they're not barking to come in. But anyway, yeah.
It's different with
Yeah,
terriers.
I'm sure it'd be fine.
Yeah. So my
Um,
old digger would have been lying by the side of me here, and I've left. Yeah.
How are you? Because unfortunately, Georgie lost her precious dog last week.
Yeah. It's
Early part,
yeah.
a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah. Yeah. As we were talking before, you know, it was a very deep soul connection. I'd had him before in another dog. The soul had come back through, and both had passed at 8 years old from cancer. And as we were saying, as we were discussing before, the dogs, and especially the Labradors, are healing dogs, and dogs are not able to transmute lower energies. So if anybody has got a Labrador or a dog that does, that is healing, it's a really good idea to give them Reiki or any healing that you can, just sending them light and literally sort of physically imagine removing any dark spots from them and changing that to light as it comes out. That's all I can see. I wish I'd known more before he passed, because I kind of got this information after he passed. It's a bit like that song, isn't it? Jagged Little Pill or whatever it's called. It's a bit late when it's actually happened, but at least if I can pass that on to other dogs,
Exactly.
it will help.
That's why I wanted it to be said, really, because like for me, definitely to know that is very, so they can't help but be healing dogs. They just heal.
That's what they come for.
I mean, just being with you, they heal, don't they?
Yeah, they are literally so full of love, and it's unconditional, apart from when they see rabbits.
Yeah. Oh.
But yes, it's unconditional. Whereas cats, they still have unconditional love for you, but they choose us and when they use that. So cats will heal, but they'll also be able to transmute that lower frequency away from their own bodies. So they've got this gift, which means that they're more self-sustaining, if you like. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I've never owned a cat. My mum had a real fear of cats. So it's not that I've got a fear of them. I've never had one either. No. So, but yeah. Your dog, do you have a cat?
I did have a cat. I lost him last year.
Even with the dogs?
Oh yeah, they live together.
Oh.
So the cat, this little cat, came from my lovely friend Helen, who does the animal communication workshops with me. And she had these lovely cats. They were beautiful. And I had one called Casper. My daughter channeled his name, Casper, and he had Melchizedek energy. And this very special cat came to us who was like no other cat. I mean, I know everybody says all cats are amazing, but this cat was incredible. He used to play with one of the terriers and literally box her face and then sort of do somersaults and just fight with her all the time. It'd play fight. And he used to sleep with her. This is Tara. And then
amazing.
He was run over by a car. Yeah, I know. I've lost 2 pets in 1 year. It's been a bit full on. But I've started to understand the soul cycle more through losing them and then them coming back. So Casper told me when he passed that he was going to come back in one of Tara's puppies, and he's come back in Rosie. And Rosie acts like a cat. She sort of does a cat stretch in the morning and makes a cat sound. And she plays with her mother in the same way. She even runs like the cat used to run on dog walks. So if anybody's lost dogs or cats and is distraught, they may come back round, and be aware of that happening. And you'll know.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's happened several times in my life with horses, dogs and cats.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that can be quite reassuring, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah. Yeah.
So with what you do, Georgie, with the soul activation, I'll just say again, Soul Purpose Activator, Quantum Oracle and Intuitive Coach. And I know some of those can be grouped together, but you'll talk about that. But how did you ever get to be that?
Right, gosh, well, so I started off, I was kind of a bit of a jack of all trades up to 2020. So most of my life, I was a bit of a flitter, as they say. I was going from one thing to the next. And I started off my working life as a sheep farmer, and I had 400 ewes, and I literally, that's all I did. And I absolutely loved it. And then when children came along, it became harder to look after little toddlers in a pushchair when you've got 400 sheep to look after and administer, you know, medication to and stuff like that. So it didn't fit in really with family life, because my ex-husband, my then husband, worked away a lot. So I had to sort of change things. So I then was a livery yard owner, looked after horses, and did a bit of network marketing. You know, really enjoyed that. And that was like the inroad to the spiritual world, because a lot of the network marketing companies, the self-development companies, runs alongside the spiritual kind of work, if you like. And I started to understand that there was something else other than just the physical world that we live in. So by the time I was 35, I kind of knew that there were other things, you know, not just the church necessarily as a way to a higher place, but also that it was also in ourselves as well. And then I kind of just went through all these different sort of careers. I was a gardener, a florist. What else? Somebody will remind me about something I forgot to say. But anyway, lots of things. And I got to lockdown, and it was time to slow down a bit. And I was just like, what am I meant to be doing? I know I'm meant to be here. I've got a picture over there. It's actually Yeshua looking at through the side of the screen, looking at me. And I know there was something that I needed to be doing. And I was like, what am I going to find this? So I looked up how to find my soul purpose. And this reading came up, this same reading that I do now, this Hebrew numerology, using the 6-pointed star and the soul plan. So I had a reading, and it was like, wow, I didn't know that about myself, but I did, but I didn't, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. And
then I thought, well, I really like this. I want to be able to share this with other people and help them to understand themselves at a deeper level, at a soul level, and understand, you know, what they're bringing to this ascension process, their piece of the puzzle, if you like. Give them a bit more clarity and just bring things in a bit here. So that's what it did for me. And I then went on to learn this system, and it was addictive for me. I just wanted to know more and more, and then started to do my own readings, and then it grew from there. And then from that became a soul coach as well, so mentoring people for say 6 months, maybe longer if needs be, if they were having a struggle to align with their soul plan, if you like, just to give them a helping hand along the way. So that's been amazing too. And I think I've mentioned everything now within that kind of title, because a soul, you know, a quantum oracle is literally just somebody who reads the soul plans and can sort of pick through the codes and decipher what it means for that person in a unique way. I think that's the best way to say it.
So a really good friend of mine had a reading with you this morning, coincidentally.
Yeah,
that I didn't realise we were going to be talking the same day.
And I didn't.
No, amazing. And so she rang afterwards and just said to me, you know, the things you told her, but you sort of channel as, so not only do you have this design star plan thing, but you're channeling, they're telling you what to say at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she'd mind me saying, you know, you told her she's only 10% human.
I did. So that's an extra thing. So that's that's a real passion of mine. So it's working out what people have been in their lives in different bodysuits as well as human percentages. And that's what I get, that's what I get given, and I go from that, and they give me words, and they tell me to explore different things. Sometimes it's the two teams working together, my higher team and their higher team, and collaboration. I always set the intention that I'm bringing through the information from them for the highest good of the individual and for the highest good of all. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get everybody in the right place, ready for the next bit. So yes, at the moment, we're all kind of working together to help each other get sorted out. That's how I see it. As a light worker group. But I see the next phase going through in the next 3 years, and then definitely after that, we are going to be serving or helping the wider population. So it's not going to be just it's going to be the 100% human people who've only ever been human, looping back in and out to Earth.
Gosh, yeah. That will need help.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that we are all going to be needed. We're all going to be called, and that's why we're all going, well, what am I meant to be doing? Because we know the time the clarion call it's been rung, and we know that there's something we're meant to be doing. But what is that? So let's get ourselves in an organized, slightly organized fashion. Let's not be too rigid though, because there's flexibility within that.
Yeah.
I mean, you found your role. It's a wonderful role. It's connecting people. Yeah,
I'm so blessed. Yes, it's so fortunate, the amount of people I've met through what I do, but it's been a really slow progress, which has been wonderful. I'm not saying I've never been thinking, oh, why aren't things moving faster? I've never given it, I've just gone along the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Not thinking, but I can see now as I look back why it's taking the route it's taking to get where I am now, to understand easier where I'm going, hopefully. Yeah,
absolutely. And a lot of it, I was given before we came on, that a lot of it's to do with what we're ready for as souls. Have we done, there was definitely lots of shadow work to do from 2020 to this point, and still there's always more, isn't there?
I mean, 2020 is so recent, actually, and for you to have taken that on in these 3 years and been able to now find your gifts and be able to pass them on to others and be so confident in doing that. Because I know another friend that had a reading with you recently, blown away. I mean, yeah, he was delighted with his reading. So to have that confidence, that was like what really interested me. When did you get the confidence to feel you could share what's coming through, that you could trust what you were getting to then share?
I think it was just natural. I think it was an innate thing. Maybe I've done it before in another life. Do you know what I mean? It felt natural and normal. It didn't feel...
Yeah.
Although I'm an outdoor person, and not necessarily an office person, connecting with people and sharing that deep message with them, with the aid of having the structure of the charts and the plan, because I can go a little bit off tangent and not really know what I'm going for. So if you've got the plan, you can then work from that, and then the meat, it's the bones, and then you're putting the meat on the bones. And I'm fascinated by it, and I'm really just the vessel. I do feel like it's all coming through, that often people say to me, oh, do you remember the reading you gave to me last year or even last month? And I'll say, no.
Because it wasn't for you, was it?
It wasn't, but it was coming through me. It was going onto a page, automatic writing onto the page, channel through from the higher teams of light through me. It's not me. It's not me, potentially. So it's a higher force that's at play here. I'm just the vessel that's being able to deliver it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
because it's obviously so reassuring to people as well, what they're hearing from you. So like with what you did for my friend earlier today, I mean, she's already on a pretty high vibration, but you know, she felt she's gone to a higher vibration just by hearing what you had to say.
Yeah, so I think for her it was she knew her talents, but she hadn't completely woken them up. They were a
Yes.
little bit asleep, and she definitely transmuted a lot of her, what I would call, challenges. So she'd worked through a lot of those, because you can tell. So one chart, you can have two charts with the same codes for two different people, potentially, just because their sound vibration comes out the same on the chart. But one might be activated and the other not activated. So as we went along, I could see how activated she was. And then it was just a case of saying, well, now you know. And it's just waking those few talents up. And then she said, yes, there's some work to do in that area. So she could see from that.
Perfect.
It was all sort of brought in, you know. So the charts are formed from the sound vibration of the birth name. That holds the plan.
Is this a Blue Marsden thing?
Yes, it is.
Yes. I've got that book somewhere, actually.
Yeah, so it's Blue Marsden is Soul Plan, and then also Nicholas Nagan has written Soul Contract, and it's the same ancient Hebrew numerology, and it's very linked to the Melchizedek lineage, people from that tribe. So
oh my God, I've got to show you this.
Oh wow.
That is so. I see that Andrew Hobbs is a friend of yours.
Yes.
And he sent me a picture of Melchizedek, and I painted it.
Oh wow, that's lovely.
I don't say that, you know, but that's what he was told was the picture of Melchizedek. So, and that really appealed to me. And when I was showing someone the other day, they were convinced that the eyes moved, but I can't see that that's happening now.
Oh my goodness, they've just done it. Oh my God, they are. Oh, Jackie, that's so strange.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. I know. The people I was talking to the other day, they said, oh, about Melchizedek. I said, oh, I just feel drawn to. Oh, how funny. Yeah, but you've mentioned him twice now. That's why I felt I had to say something. So yeah, carry on about or whatever you were saying around Melchizedek then.
So from what I know, and we won't know till we know, kind of thing, will we? At the end of this, whenever we go, wherever we go, kind of thing.
Yes.
But the Melchizedek lineage is a kind of link, I think, from our spiritual group. The small groups and then the wider groups linked to this lineage, and it's the Order of the Rose as well, which is the divine feminine order that runs alongside. They work together, the two. So when I go back between past lives, if I've ever gone back before, I always see them there, and it looks like something out of either Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, and they're all standing there and they're quite serious, and they've got the hair like that. They've all got the hair, and they look like either Gandalf or you know, different versions of Gandalf, and there's this kind of blue-white light around them, and they're basically saying, right, so, and they're quite straight to the point. There's no messing about. So what do you want to do now? You know, and it's very, and this is what you need to do now. Sometimes I've been back to them in this life to get more instruction, and it's a bit like, well, get on with it then, you know. So they're certainly not wishy-washy. The men, anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the numbers are really important. So the
Yes.
numbers that work out. Were you always interested in numbers anyway?
I studied Pythagorean numerology just as an interest. Yes. Just kind of interested in dates of birth, because that's another thing. That's sort of post Christ. Is it post Christ, or is it just before Christ? Anyway, but it's a bit younger in its format. So I do look at that. It's not the same as the numbers don't mean the same, if you know what I mean. There's 22 Hebrew creation fire letters and codes. So they've got little symbols next to them, which are in themselves activating when you look at them on your chart. And it goes around the 6-pointed star. I'm just going to see if I've got one. Don't want to show any names. I'll just get one here and I'll cover up the name at the top. So you can't see who that is. That's what it looks like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's all those different codes. There's karma or challenge areas that need to be worked through, that your soul's chosen to take on in this life and work through. Then there's goal areas that you're aiming to achieve in this life. And then there's the talents as well. Some are asleep, so then they can be woken up and they're readily available. And then the soul destiny in the center is the core reason that you're here. Yeah. And then these, within those codes, there's a kind of different options. So it's a range of things that you can look at or go for. You know, it's not set in stone.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So when you had your initial reading or found out about it, you were really,
I was like, well,
really made
sense. I was
creative.
I know I was good at art at school, but didn't know I was creative. But it was creative in every sense, not just maybe writing stories or art. It was cookery, gardening, all the floral stuff, making a house look nice, knowing what looks right where for interior design, that kind of thing. So it covers a broad area. It could also be somebody who's creative at writing spiritual programs or courses or learning, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you've got another code like the 8, and I'm guessing you have, although I haven't seen your chart, you have to have permission from anybody. You can't just look at a chart. It has to be, unless they're deceased.
Oh, absolutely. Apparently, unless they're dead, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So somebody would say with double 8s would be very earthy, very grounded, very real, connected to their emotions, understand themselves emotionally, rock solid, the sort of person that can fix everything, you know, practical, that kind of thing. But they've also got a shamanic energy to them, and they're connected to the earth energies, which is their sort of spiritual side. And they have this ability to kind of read people, read them physically or read their energy, or both. They've got this sort of shape-shifting ability to go into somebody's energy and read what's going on. It's amazing.
So you know it goes from the birth name.
Yes.
So what happens if you are then adopted and given a different name?
So it's the name that you're given in the first 6 weeks of life.
Right.
So if that name changes at 4 weeks, that's the plan. So it's the one you've got at 6 weeks old. That one. Now, my friend Helen that I was telling you about has got 2 charts because she was adopted at 6 weeks, and we're working with both charts. And she's completed one, and now we're looking at the other one. So she's now working through the challenges of the other one. That's very unique. That's extremely unique. And her soul has chosen that for greater expansion.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what if you decide to change your name at a later date? I know you're saying the 6 weeks, but if someone feels that their name is not correct,
yes,
you know, and then they've changed, so Solara, for instance, changed her name. Yeah. But that will have no impact. It's only what she had up till 6 weeks is the real impactful.
Yeah, your birth name at up to 6 weeks and at 6 weeks is the plan. And then the other names, we call them the overlay names, are the influences. So when you change your name, you just change the game, as it were. You're going off in a slightly different route, but the main core coding is still there. And then the overlay names are like sort of a flavoring over the top, adding some extra codes. And sometimes people may get married or choose a different overlay name, and it may clash with that bottom chart, and they may be experiencing continual problems in certain areas because of this clash. So the best thing for them to do would be, and I can do this as well, is help them with finding a name that helps them to have a smoother ride, if you like, and one that will help to activate that main chart.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And then often also people have got overlay names. So your friend from this morning had an overlay name that was beneficial to her main chart. It helped.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, so the more I'm talking to you, it's reminded me that when I first started Positive Living back in 2013, there was a girl going to come and do a talk about soul plans. And she couldn't make it on the day or the day before. And she said, shall I put a notice out to the group of soul plan readers? Because there wasn't many around, to see if anyone could. And this lovely man, Daniel Vay's Angelic Muse. Have you heard of him?
I think I remember. When did you have him on? I can't. Was it recently? Or years ago?
No. This was when I was doing it all in person back in 2013. So he probably come in 2014. It was such a memorable evening because he only said the night before he would come. He got on a train and come from London to do the talk for us. What a lovely guy. And he said, will you mind if I use your name as an example? So I gave him my name, birth name. And I'm not kidding you. Because I was quite new to doing the positive living, quite still embarrassed about everything and everything, And as he spoke about it was like he'd known me from the minute I was born.
Yeah.
I felt I was getting redder and redder, like what I was like at school, totally different person to what I am now. Obviously we all are, but yeah, you unrecognizable, but telling everyone what I was like then and now, and incredible.
It's incredible how spot on it is. And that's just the skeleton. That's just the skeleton that you're given. And then when you get the channeling as well, and he would have been able to do that, the channeling on top to make it very individual. It's incredible. It's a very accurate reading, and it's very illuminating. And often people are on the right track and they just need clarity.
Wow. Wonderful. So interesting, Georgie.
Yeah.
You must love what you do now.
I do. I love it very much. It's my day job. The other passion that I have with my friends is doing the sort of earth energy healing and the releasing of different energies that are trapped in the earth and things like that. We just get told what to do. Helen channels, my friend channels a lot. So she says, we've got another mission. And then a few different people add their pieces that they've been given. Maybe I get something, somebody else gets something. And then we put this pitch together of what needs to happen. It sounds like some kind of, crazy thing, but it's amazing.
I know.
It works.
I listened to you the other day when you were on about the dragons, that you're releasing dragons or whatever it is about dragons. And so even where we go to a stand in the park in Lyndhurst, on the top of the hill, there's a group of trees, and there was they were saying that a dragon was released from there recently, that it really needed to be released. I've got no, that hasn't come to me in any way, and yet I can draw a dragon and love to draw a dragon. So I guess there's some connection, but not actually like you thought when I heard you saying, anyone hearing us talk, I never thought I would be doing this. And
exactly. So what I'm getting at the moment is, 6 months ago I wasn't into dragons at all. I would tell people if they had dragon energy in their source energy and if they'd had dragon lives, that was very easy to do, but I didn't link to it myself. No. And then as time's gone on, I've remembered dreams about riding dragons. It sounds crazy, in other lives. And they've come forward and I've seen them, and then it's like, oh. And then being with friends who've got dragon energy, and then we've been starting this to get messages from holding stones and things, from just being in areas. And then the more you read on Facebook, then you see there's lots going on. And I just read tonight, somebody, I think it was Maggie Golinak, had shared something that had been shared with her from somebody, and it went all the way back to a lady in Maui in Hawaii who channeled this dragon consciousness. So underneath the island that was attacked in Hawaii was a dragon egg. And that's why it was attacked. However, they've managed to take it further down and keep it protected.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a bigger thing than we all realize.
It really is.
And I've been working with other Melchizedek groups as well, with Christoph Melchizedek. There's been more dragon work that we've done with him as well. And like, what is it with the dragon? What's going on? And I wrote it down in there. The dragons are holding the consciousness of oneness. So they've been locked down all these thousands of years. And that consciousness, as we know, has been locked down. So by releasing the dragons, that consciousness and that oneness consciousness is then released as well. There's something bigger going on that we're all starting to piece together on this.
Yes. And even by you saying that, that makes absolute sense.
It's resonating within you, and it's almost like it's a shot. It's going through your spine, and it's connecting you down, and it's pulling you down. It's amazing. It's like this. I'm wondering if it's connected to the Kundalini energy as well.
Oh, yes.
The dragon spine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, we're all getting the next piece and getting the next piece, and then we get something else, don't we? And then we work that bit out, and then
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I'm really, that is so interesting to even realize that. There was something else I read there. Oh yeah, when you talk about upgrades, when we upgrade. So a talk of I said this when we were at Wales the other day. So we were at Wales Somerset, which is right by Glastonbury. Absolutely beautiful. But something Tim Wilde said about the upgrades that we're getting now. And I said, oh, when I was ill at Christmas, not at all well. And I was supposed to be going to something with Diana. Can't remember what it was now, but anyway, I messaged her. I said, I'm so sorry I couldn't go. And she knew from my voice, you know, how bad I was, and I was feeling really low and miserable. Sorry for myself. And then she came back with this message saying, I'm sure you know anyway, Jackie, but you've passed your 7th initiation on Wednesday, and you'll start getting better now. And well, I had no idea I'd passed my 7th initiation on Wednesday, or what a 7th initiation was, but I started getting better straight away. It was unbelievable. It was just so lovely. So to say upgrades, I know when Diana had that illness, you know, not long ago, last year, she looked at that whole thing as it was an upgrade. What a way to look at an illness. You know, you're being upgraded. You're being made to rest while they let you upgrade.
Yeah, because you know what it's like with people like us. We don't stop.
No.
We have to make ourselves stop.
Yeah.
And so in order for sometimes for those, if that upgrade is needed and we need to go up to the next level, whatever you want to call it, they have to stop us in our tracks.
Yes.
To do that. And also, if you're getting all that light, receiving all that photonic light as well, those solar codes going into your cells and cellular physicality, your body needs to be still to process that. It's huge.
Yes.
And then of course there's the release on the other side, and I think the illness is the release. So you receive, then you're ill, and then you release the old stuff, and then it's almost like shedding a skin, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because if you look at an illness in a positive way, rather than, because I had got quite, low with it. And yeah, to start looking at it positively, that it was a really good thing for me, was a really good thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had COVID in 2021, August, September 2021, same time as Tim had it, actually. And it was a weird thing. Saw some weird, not bad stuff, but just weird things, you almost are in another realm when it's going on. Yeah. And you know it's not normal, and you can feel this crackling in your ears, and you can feel it happening.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. I've literally had no taste or smell now for October 3 years ago.
Wow.
I lost my taste and smell, and then it came back gradually, but every time I get a little bit of a cold, which I've had one last week, completely gone now, 0 again. So if anyone's got any ideas around that, how I could get it back.
Apparently you can retrain yourself with smell and taste. I mean, now I've only lost the smell bit, so I've had to retrain the smell. The taste I didn't lose, but the smell was, so my house probably stinks. Smells of dogs and everything, but anyway. But yes, so I use some essential oils and just put it on and say that's rose, and I make sure I smell roses, and so to almost like retrain myself to smell,
because my smell had come back quite well, but obviously it's completely gone again now.
So
but yes,
just, I mean, it sounds a bit weird, but and I would, I used to tell my kids off when they did it if they smelt their food.
But now you do
otherwise, because it's training, you see. Smelling it helps you.
Oh, marvelous. I know they say strong smells as well,
yes,
if you
exactly.
Anything you want to share with us, Georgie? I know I haven't got access to see if there's any questions, so we'll look at that afterwards.
Okay.
But if there's anything you want to share with us, by all means do.
I just want to, at the moment we are in this situation where we are in a spiritual battle, and the best thing we can do for ourselves is to keep our vibrations high, consciously keep our vibrations high. So my advice would be to everyone, and I'm speaking to myself as well at the same time, is energy management morning and night, whatever process you want to use that's right for you. And there's lots out there, maybe go to the tried and trusted, as I say, go to the people that you trust, and you use those techniques daily, and have a really disciplined practice. It might only be 5 minutes either end of the day, but it does need to happen now. We can't get away with not doing it. It's part of the armory.
Do you mind sharing what yours is, or is that part of what you said earlier?
No, that's fine. So in the morning when I have a shower, because I'm very earthy, so I just take the dogs down the fields, take my wellies off when I get into the field, walk on the grass with no shoes, so I'm connected to the ground, so I'm grounding. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I go down to the medicine wheel if I can, but you can do this in the garden. You can just go out into the garden with no shoes on, and set the intention to connect to the 5th dimensional vibration of Mother Earth, her highest energies. Connect with that lower light grid in Earth, that high frequency grid of Earth, and then come back to the heart space, and then connect up. And then what I do when I have a shower is I cleanse and visualize the water cleansing, but also asking Archangel Zadkiel to bring in the lilac fire source through the bodies and fields. And I just say it. I say I'm cleansing through my bodies and fields with the lilac fire source. Thank you, Mother Earth, for receiving it and transmuting it to light. Then get ready. And as I'm getting ready, I put that crystalline kind of light around me in whatever shape you want.
Yeah.
And if you want to put the dragon armor of light on, if you're going out into the big wide world and there's a lot of energy out there, say if you live in a city or something, or you work very much with ordinary folk and there's lots of different energy as there is at the moment going on, then put your dragon armor of light on and do that.
Beautiful.
And at night, cutting cords, cutting the
Oh,
lower
good
cords,
one.
not the higher threads of light that connect us in the grid that I see going over the top of us, the light grid. We're keeping that connection with the light grid, with each other, in our higher selves, you know, on a higher consciousness. But we're cutting the lower stuff. We don't need to keep the lower stuff, you know, even with our best friends, we don't need to keep the lower stuff. We can cut that. And I ask Archangel Michael to come in and help with that. And I just see the threads and cords dropping out and turning into light as they drop out. And then again, just surround yourself in protection before you go to sleep. And maybe just maybe draw that energy back in, you know, especially if it's been out there a lot, and you perhaps been feeling, consciously bring it back in and surround it in that crystalline shape. That's what I do. It's quite simple.
Yeah, because once you get used to it, I mean, for me, you know, it's Ho'oponopono, or you might not know, but
and I use that as well. I use that if there's a little bit of a disagreement, you know, matrimonial disagreement, or something's off.
Yes,
with a friendship or something, I use that as well. Yeah, definitely. It's so powerful.
I mean, that's just, you know, you want to be at zero, you want to be open for inspiration to come in. But that's quite a, you know, the cord cutting. I mean, it's not to say Ho'oponopono is the only thing, but I just know that covers most things. So it's really good for me just to, certainly at the start of the day and at the end of the day as well, is like a nice start and end to my day. But yes, it helps us no end. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you and thank you. I had this sent to me from a beautiful soul. I don't think you can read that there. Oh yeah, you might be able to.
Love.
So love, gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness.
Oh, that's
beautiful. Oh, you might be able to see that.
Yeah, we can see it. When you do that, you can see it. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. Beautiful, isn't it?
Well, you could put your water in the Jackie, and that will be infused with that intention.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a blue bottle downstairs that's got the water in that I use every day. I just love that as a reminder to, but I probably should. Anyway, all is well. Hi, Georgie. It's been lovely speaking to you. I was just going to say one more thing, though. If you're still, because I've had a situation in the last week. So poverty consciousness has been deeply ingrained in a lot of us.
Yes.
Definitely, without a doubt. Me included.
Code 3 in challenge. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so is there a way, because my overriding thought, you know, just a simple thing the other day where some raw dog food I was defrosting it. This is very simplistic. There's been other things more than this, but raw dog food was defrosting in the oven, and someone put the oven on and cooked it, and it was £5.85. It's £5.85 down the drain. But that just showed me still how deeply ingrained I am around abundance, if you know what I mean. And then I really pray that I haven't give that over to my children. And so that's what I was thinking, you know, if I can see it within myself. I know loads of friends that, you know, there's a lot that are very wealthy and very happy, you know, like, you know, have got their abundance. But then there's that other side, and I'm definitely hovering. You know, what would you say for that, to get out of that 3D? Because that's a real 3D thing, isn't it?
It is a real 3D thing. And it's interesting because it's not in my coding. And so, do you know what I mean? So I can see it and I understand it. But because I've always been blessed with having abundance and being able to manage on not much, and then it comes right again.
Yes.
But maybe you have too. but you just haven't looked at it that way.
Well, I know
You know
how
what I mean?
blessed I am and how
Yeah.
grateful I am for,
Yeah.
you know, because I've got no reason really to be like that. And
Well,
yet I
I
still
think
some
Adrian
things
will.
come up like it.
I think Adrian would be able to clear that, surely, wouldn't he? It's a vow. It's a vow of poverty that you've made in a past
Yeah,
life.
and I've had many vows,
Yeah.
you know, done those clearing things, and even with Ho'oponopono,
Still.
not even just, but for anyone. So when I looked at the price for your clearing, I mean, for you, what you do,
Yes.
I would love that, obviously. And I looked at the price, and I just think people looking at that as well. But obviously, my friend that had it today said it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
So that's where this whole conversation's come up as well. Not, you know, just why am I like that when I've got really no reason to be? How do you break it? So you think go perhaps and have a clearing with Adrian?
It's a programming, isn't it? And it's that wealth. So you've come here to experience the wealth poverty polarity.
And I wish wealth
Well, it
for
could be
anyone.
four. It could be four. It could be abundance. The abundance code. So when you've got four in karma, in a karmic way, you think it's all about survival, and you're the only one that can give you, you know, can keep you alive, and nothing else, no universal energy is going to do that. You know what I mean? It's that kind of mentality, like I'm a survivor and I've just got to get food on the, you know, food on the table.
Yes.
Whereas I'm like, it's flowing, it flows in and it flows out. And
yes.
And
logically,
I know if I give in one
that.
area, if I give in one area, it'll come back in another area. And I don't think, oh, she's not given me anything and I've given her loads. Because I've got it in talent, in a talent area, in my overlay name, I know that it's going to come round. So that's something that I've maybe worked through in other lives. That thing, that idea, if you like.
That's the thing, because I know all that logically with Louise Hay stuff as well. It's very much about, you know, you wish so when you hear what a footballer's on, for instance, instead of thinking that's ridiculous, you think, you've got to think, oh my gosh, that's amazing. He so deserves that, because you're wishing it for yourself if you wish it for others as well.
Yeah.
So I know all that logically.
Yeah.
And still it's there a little bit. And I think I just pray so it's not that I put it onto my children. If it's in their numbers, they put it onto themselves.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And you do see those threads sometimes within families. In family readings, I can see threads that are there. So sometimes it is. And sometimes you'll see the children with a positive, with the code in the positive, and they help the parents to work through.
Well, yeah. Because I mean, I know, you know, when you say about your parents, I can see exactly where my thought processes come from. And I certainly don't blame them, because that's all they knew.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, having that trust of the flow, isn't it? Even though, you know, there is always the flow.
Absolutely. And I think looking back at my ancestry, we're hillbillies, bit free spirit, you know, horse whisperers, animal whisperers, don't follow rules, and a little bit kind of like, not gypsy mentality, but you know, that kind of, we've got our own ways, and therefore we are quite sovereign in the way we behave, although everybody pays taxes and all of that. But I just feel there's that energy in my family background. And real workers, though, the real grafters. But my father's transmuted this, having to work with your hands and slog, to being a bit smarter about how you work.
Oh, good.
But I would say I'm probably a bit more earthy than he is, and I'm more hands-on, but I enjoy being hands-on. Outside.
Are you an earth sign?
Yes. Capricorn. Are you?
You're a Capricorn. I did wonder. I'm a Cancer. Yeah,
I'm not big on the
homely.
astrology, so astrology isn't something I'm kind of. I look at it and people tell me things about myself, but yeah, we've all got our speciality, haven't we?
Absolutely. What date are you in? Oh, do you mind me saying?
No, not at all. 30th December.
Oh, right. My boy is the 7th of January.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my mum was like the 12th, so all very earthy, yeah.
Can be
Definitely says it
serious.
like it
Can be a
is.
bit serious sometimes. Need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Need to see the funny side of things. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's been lovely talking to you, Georgie.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for having me on. It's been so lovely to talk to you as well.
And
if
you.
anybody wants to join the community, it's www.unifiedconsciousness community, and it's on Facebook. And
Brilliant.
yeah, thank you.
Well worth joining. Thank you, Georgie.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thanks anyone watching.
Yeah, thanks
Oh,
everybody.
I'm trying to use the mouse and I went onto the laptop. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.